everybody's asking right now. What's going on in the real estate market in Tampa, Florida? We're going to get to that. Stay tuned. Hi everybody, I'm Maria Nager with Mahar & Associates Tampa Team TLC here in Tampa, Florida. And today we're going to talk about where is the market at right now. And this is July 2022. So let's recap for a brief minute. Let's go back to 2020 when COVID first hit. Everybody was kind of in a panic, obviously. Market kind of stood still for a moment. Everybody was waiting to see, well, with furloughs on jobs and the rent moratorium, what's going to happen? Are people going to have short sales and foreclosures? And nobody really knew. Nobody had a crystal ball. Nobody had the answer. Long and behold, the market went crazy. It went the complete opposite. We had tremendous influx of buyers coming to the state of Florida. And not just buyers, but investors. We had like $330,000, or I apologize, 330,000 sales. About 130,000 of those sales were cash. We did that on a previous video too. But talking about that, I think people anticipated that the market was going to crash. Kind of like they have that '08 syndrome in their head. So that's not really what happened, right? It went the complete opposite. We had everybody going crazy looking to buy homes. Now, it didn't get that nuts 2020. It was still relatively steady because people who had to buy were going to buy. People had to downsize, they had to upsize, they had to relocate to or from another state. So we did have some, smooth sailing, I would say. It stayed pretty steady. Then 2021, people really got a grasp of what was going on in the world and in the market. Everybody decided, well, now that I know I can work from home, I want a bigger home. And if I'm going to want a bigger home, I want to be in a nicer state where I'm not going to pay as much in taxes. And I want better weather. So, hence, everybody comes to Florida. Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, Texas was another big state that everybody moved to. We had tremendous amount of people coming from the north. So we had New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maryland, California, Minnesota, Wisconsin, people coming from colder states and more expensive states. So the market got a little crazy and there was multiple offers on properties. 20, 30, 40 offers even on some. People were paying way above asking, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. I even saw one as much as $90,000 cash, and they were a consumer. They were somebody looking to buy it as their primary residence, not just their investment. And so it got a little nutty. People were waiving appraisals, waiving inspections, and this became like the norm. So the first thing you did when you saw a house in the market, you called up the agent and said, hey, how many offers you have? And this was like day one. So within 3 days of being on the market, the house would be under contract and sold, right? Here we are now, July 2022. We started to see a bit of a shift come around May of this year when there was talk about the interest rates going to increase, in which they did. And so because again, there was a limited supply of inventory, and another reason for that is because a lot of people who were looking to sell would need to buy. Now they ran into a problem. Where are they going to buy? Because there was such limited inventory and there was so many people paying cash, and they may have had to sell their home in order to buy the next one. So it's kind of like that domino effect. And they probably wouldn't qualify unless they sold this house. Well, almost no sellers were going to take contingencies of any sort. Like I said, people waiving appraisals and inspections. They were not going to take a contingency of a sale of a home. So now that we've seen this shift, with the interest rates starting to increase, let me give you an example. Somebody looking to buy a home for $450,000, and we're just talking principal and interest, not going to discuss taxes and HOAs and insurance because that could vary. So $450,000 on a 30-year mortgage at 3.25 would have run somebody about $1,965 a month. You compare that to 6.25, that's about $2,700 a month, difference of $700 and change. That equates to of about $130,000 in a purchase price. So that affects a buyer's buying power. Doesn't mean they still can't buy, just means they're not going to get as much house for their money. But we always say in real estate, you don't marry the rate, you marry the house. So you buy the house because it's your investment. It's going to still continue to appreciate in value. And in time, when the rates change again and or decrease, then you refinance and you save the money. But why would you want to rent if you're going to pay a 100% increase and have the instability of your landlord saying, well, prices, inflation, everything else has gone up. I have to raise your rent $200-$300, or you have to be out next month. So I think buying is always a better position to be in. And what we're starting to see now is not a real dip in the market. We're just starting to see that things are slowly starting to balance out. Now, we only really have a 2-month inventory. So that means we've got about enough houses right now. If nothing else came on the market in 2 months' time, we'd be out of inventory. So supply and demand, right? People are starting to get the idea that, well, I see that the spike is really kind of over and it's starting to level out. And maybe now if I want to put my house on the market, I might have a better opportunity of finding something and for a reasonable price, still market value, but without having 30 offers. And maybe they'll take a contingency. Same thing goes for buyers who had buyer's fatigue, because they may have been trying to buy a home for 2 years, and every time they made an offer, they were up against 30 others. And if they were not cash or conventional and they were FHA or VA, they really basically had almost no shot. So now what we're starting to see is that people are able to make an offer and not be in such competition. And especially if they're FHA or VA, we see a little bit more flexibility. And two, you have to think the sellers are saying to themselves, well, now I'm starting to see more inventory, which is competition for me. And I really don't know where the market's going to go right now with interest rates and things. Maybe I should be a little more negotiable on my price. And you want to really think about that too. You want to price the house correctly. A lot of sellers are still thinking, well, I'm going to list it for 50 grand over and let's see what I get. Sometimes you might hurt yourself by doing that, because when you don't get any feedback that's positive or you're not getting any offers, your only option is to reduce the price. And the more you keep reducing the price, the consumer has it in their mind that this is way overpriced. I'm going to now lowball offer the seller. So you might want to think about pricing. You really want to price the home correctly. And you really want to have a experienced professional realtor who's got your back, knows the market, knows how to market, knows how to price the home, and is there to be on your side. You want to be careful of companies out there who you may have just recently heard about, such as Open Door getting a $62 million fine for being deceitful with people. And what they did was they come in and they tell the consumer that they're definitely getting more money for their house by using the iBuyer than they would be putting it on the market. And I got to tell you, that used to kill me, because every time I would pull up a property to show a buyer and I see it was purchased through Open Door and now they're selling it for $30,000, $40,000, or $50,000 more, I really had to scratch my head and say, why in the world would that seller sell their home to an iBuyer? Do they not understand that they're going to turn around and flip it and put it back on the market for more money? But not everybody's educated, and they really think they're cutting the middleman out, which is us, the realtors. However, we're here to represent you. We're here to make sure you get the most money for your house. We're here to make sure that the transaction is smooth. And it's not always the highest price that you get too. You want to make sure it's the strongest offer with all terms involved. So again, using a realtor is really your best bet. So getting back to just where the market's at. Right now, what we're seeing is that we're getting more inventory. And if we all had a crystal ball, we'd all be millionaires, because I could tell you exactly where the market's going to go, and I can't. I don't know what the rates are going to end up in December. I don't know if we're going to have 6 months of inventory by December. I don't know any, look at when COVID happened. Nobody expected COVID to come. Nobody expected COVID to shut down the world. So here we are. It went complete opposite of what everybody thought. So my point here today is there's obviously a shift going on in the market. We're seeing more inventory come on. Doesn't mean we're crashing. It means we're hopefully going to see a more balanced market. We're going to see more negotiations going on, and we'll see more opportunity for buyers as well as sellers. So keep that little thought in mind. If you find this video useful and helpful, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the little bell. I hope to see you back next time. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao for now.